So Rain's been an integral part of FaZe for 10, almost 10 years. I mean, no player in the top teams have this type of player where he's been with the organization for so long, been at the top for so long. I mean, it's crazy that Rain hasn't even dropped out of the top 20 for FaZe. Isn't that absurd? He's never been outside the top 20 for 10 years. The closest player to Rain is actually Crims, and Crims, we all know what happened to Crims. I mean, Fnatic imploded, but Rain has been there the entire time. He's been a solid, stable player for entirety of Tier 1 CS. This guy is so memorable, and nobody has anything bad to say about him. I mean, this guy is just it's a sad day, let's say, for a lot of FaZe fans, especially because when we think of FaZe, we think of the big moments, right? We think of the big matches, we think of Rain, and we don't have that anymore. I mean, we still have some, right? We still have Frozen, who's been somewhat alright, although we haven't seen extreme amounts of, those playoff level matches from him. We do have twists, obviously, we all remember I am alone. And we have Brokey, right? Who's massive clutch factor in his best years, but we've lost a lot of that old it seems like we've lost a lot of that old identity as a team, I believe. And Rain takes up a lot of spots. In fact, he takes up some of the most important spots on some maps. For example, we have outside on Nuke. I mean, what a signature spot for Rain. I mean, we also have Boiler on apps. I mean, what an iconic spot for Rain again. We have Cave on Ancient. I mean, he's delivered some crazy highlights on that side of the map. He's just so remarkable in a lot of these spots, but not for the reasons that you think. I mean, if we think of outside players, right, we think of, some oppers who like to take that spot. There's actually a unique comparison we can do with Nico actually to Rain. And although Nico might frag more in those outside roles, when we put Rain there, you can be sure that Rain will play in a specific way that's predictable for your team. The thing I like to say about Rain is that although he doesn't frag like his counterparts in his positions, he doesn't need the help like his other counterparts do. And in the top, I would say 5 teams right now, people who take up these important roles are the players who often don't need any help to succeed in those types of positions. And Rain is no different, actually, in this case. So if we look at Nico, for example, he's a player you can just leave outside and he'll make his own moves and he'll give great comms and then he'll say like this or that. Brain is the same, pretty much the same. He doesn't need the help to stay stable in those positions, but he doesn't frag. That's the biggest comparison I can put to Rain. He's such a stable player in his positions, doesn't need any help, but he doesn't frag, which is why maybe he's been removed. Although in the past couple months, I think he's done completely fine for his roles. But nevertheless, I mean, he's getting removed. So our team right now is looking like Kerrigan, Jacob, Twists, Frozen, and Brokey. I think if all four, except for Kerrigan, can all frag at least 1.05, there should be some hope. There should be some hope for this team, but I don't feel very satisfied with Rain leaving because, like I said, Rain is such a stable player, and you almost don't need to actually give him any instruction on how to play. He just knows what to do, goes off of intuition, and just frags. So, how do we realistically keep that same stable basis with arguably less stable players? Jacob has been up and down, and of course, he's completely new to Tier 1. But, thinking about what Rain did in FaZe, do you think Jacob or Twist can really replicate that same thing over and over and over and over and over again? I don't think so, and that actually sort of worries me in this case. So where could Rain go? Because he said that he doesn't want to retire. Well, I think that Rain could maybe. I've been thinking a lot about this. I think maybe he could join Mouz even. There's a potential place for him in Mouz because Mouz needs some of that choke factor to go away. And there does seem to be some weakness at Jimmy right now. I don't know if that's just a small slump, but his performance has dropped off. And I think that realistically, if you had to replace a player on Mouse, it would have to be either Roland or Jimmy. And I don't think Roland's going to be leaving anytime soon. But obviously, this is a hypothetical. I believe that Jimmy is still a great support player, but it's just that he's a possible replacement that doesn't really get rid of the Mao's identity so hard. And Rain can honestly just play those support roles if he needs to. But I wouldn't say that those are his best roles, but he could. Another team that I could have been thinking about is maybe Na'Vi, but I don't think Na'Vi right now has it in them to take up Rain right now, especially with Makaze. So Makaze is mostly taking those opening duels, which Rain is probably very stable at. I haven't really given it a bit of thought for Na'Vi at least, but it's also possible that Na'Vi are looking to revamp their roster with Rain, but who knows? I also another possible option could be Gamer Legion. Maybe I don't know. Towson's been looking pretty good, looking better than normal actually because of rating 3.0. I don't. I think the only possible replacement you can have on that team though is Towson because they just signed Hypex, right? But uh, Gamer Legion is a potential place where Rain could go. Other than that, there aren't really a lot of places for Rain because we all know that Rain is such a great tier one player, but there's just unfortunately no real good spots. I mean, some people are throwing in Falcons. I don't know if Rain would join Falcons personally, but it's potentially possible if Nico goes to the IGL role and then Kixen isn't safe, and maybe you could replace Kixen, or maybe they're looking to grab Rain for the Tessus role. It's potentially possible. But overall, I mean, what a fantastic career player. I mean, Rain is a GOAT, and not because, he frags like crazy. He's not a Nico or a Monacy or a Donk, but he's just this guy is loved by the CS community for great reason. No one has said anything bad about him. He is just the soldier, and he will be a soldier for your team. He doesn't complain, he doesn't try, he just sits there, gets to work on himself. Obviously, I mean, we've heard that he doesn't even remember nades, but this guy's a soldier, and no one hates him. He's a great player, certainly a GOAT, certainly a Hall of Famer. But yeah, it's been a great time seeing Rain and FaZe, and hopefully he stays around for a little bit longer because I don't think anyone hates this guy.